Hi everyone, so today I'm going to teach you how to make puff stitch popcorn that you can use for garland for your tree or literally whatever you want. I have very fond memories of stringing along actual popcorn with my grandmother, and this is definitely something I wanted to do for the Alzheimer's awareness fundraiser that I'm doing. So I'm going to show you all how I did it, and we're going to try to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to undo all of this work. The beads are optional. I think it looks really nice and helps break up the color a little bit. However, I'm using pony beads, so I got these in a pack from Walmart. They're 500 pieces, and it has a resealable bag, which is always nice. And I would say I used about like a little between a third and a half of these beads. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We'll see. I also hand dyed this yarn. So this is Bernat blanket yarn. And it's hard to capture on camera, I found, the kind of subtle changes I made. But I did put like little bits of like yellow and brown to give it more of a popcorny look rather than just being a plain white. You can use a plain white, totally up to you. You don't have to go through the process of dyeing it if you don't want to. I did find it was very easy to dye. If you want to find out how I dyed it, you can check on my TikTok, and I talked about how I dyed acrylic yarn. Because acrylic yarn, this is Bernat blanket, acrylic yarn is harder to dye. Not harder necessarily, but you need like specific ways to dye it that are different from a natural fiber. So to start out, I'm using my Bernat blanket, which is a super bulky 6-weight yarn, and I'm using a 9mm hook. Now, I did try originally to do this with my furls, and because of the puff stitch that we're doing, I found it very difficult to have all of these stitches on this one hook because the hook does get larger as it gets into the handle. So I would not recommend using the furls hook unless you're a better crocheter than I am, which is not hard. So we're going to start out by creating a slip knot on the hook. And this is my clover M/N, my 9mm. So you could definitely go up a size if you wanted to. I don't think there's any harm in that. But I chose to use this size. So what we're going to do, I kind of skipped a step. Sorry. I'm bad at instructions, you should know that. But what I did is I chained one. And I'm going to kind of pull that up a little bit. It's just shy of an inch. If you make it too large, then you get these really big gaps between the former chain and your puff stitch. So make sure it's not too large, otherwise it'll look a little weird. Again, I'm in the experimental phase of mine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of pull this loop out that I just made so it's a little bit easier to go in and out of. You're going to go through the loop, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through, and then you're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and you're going to do that 3 more times so that you will have done it 5 times in total. So yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, and one more, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to want to kind of stretch your loops up after each yarn over, because you're gonna have a really tough time getting through all of these stitches, which is what we're gonna do, if they're way too tight. This is definitely something that's taken a little bit of practice for me. So just experiment with your tension and everything like that, and that will help. So next you're going to yarn over. Once you have all those loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all of the loops on your hook. And then you're going to do a chain 1 to secure all those. So see how you still have like a little bit of a loop? That's not a big deal. If it's too large, then you might want to do it again. Again, just experimental findings that I have. So next I'm going to pull a pony bead down. Now I did thread a bunch of those beads onto the yarn already. There are ways you can add beads later on in a project, but I didn't want to do that. So next, once you have your pony bead pulled down, I would suggest, I've seen this with like larger wooden round beads, and I thought they were a lot better looking than the pony beads. The pony beads are just kind of too small to really like capture the essence, I think, but you know, use what you can find. I found some unpainted wooden garland at Walmart, but it was expensive, and it was going to be super expensive if I bought all the beads that I thought I needed. So next you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through. So that bead's going to be just kind of isolated by itself. If you didn't do that extra bead, the bead would kind of be caught up in the puff stitch, and we don't want that. So then we're going to pull up our loop, again, about an inch, maybe a little bit less, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through, you're going to yarn over, push through, and then pull through, and see how I'm kind of pulling those stitches up so they have some nice height. So this is the height of my stitch right now, and we're going to try to maintain that. So we're going to do that a couple more times until we have enough stitches on our loop. Honestly, I'm not super counting, because you can make them as big or as small as you want. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all those loops. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through to chain 1 and secure that puff stitch in place. Next I'm going to pull that pony bead down into my stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1. So it looks just like that. Like I said, with a bigger bead, it would definitely be cuter, I think. But you want to make sure that the hole in your bead is large enough to easily slide on your yarn. That's the biggest, most important part. You don't want something with a tiny little small hole that you're not going to be able to get through. So I'm going to try with a slightly smaller loop. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, create my stitch height, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, push through, yarn over, pull through. We've got that nice fluffy puff stitch. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all the loops on our hook and chain 1 to secure it. Then we're going to pull a pony bead down. We're going to chain 1 to lock that bead into place. And see how, like, because the bead's so small, it kind of, I feel like it kind of disappears from certain angles. So just experiment with different size beads if you want to. If you don't want to use beads, that's absolutely fine. It's definitely not a requirement. I just feel like I like the way that it breaks up the color a little bit. So I'm going to do one more, and then you should be well on your way to being a pseudo popcorn artist. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through. I'm going to open up that loop a little bit so it's easier to see where I'm going through. Yarn out and get that stitch height. Yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over, yarn over. And see, I made these a little bit tighter, not on purpose, just because I forgot to pull up. And I can already tell that this is going to be a little bit harder to get my hook through, but if you encounter this problem, you just have to do a little bit more finagling to get all of these stitches through. So you'll kind of see that I have to work a little bit harder to get all of those stitches in. So it's just about finding the right balance of pulling up that initial stitch and maintaining that stitch height that you want. So this is a little bit trickier. Like I said, just play with it. You might find that you like using a larger hook. I wouldn't necessarily recommend using a smaller hook just with the bulkiness of this yarn, but do what makes you happy and makes the popcorn garland of your dreams. So I'm going to just kind of like individually pull these over the hook head, making sure I have my yarn that I'm trying to pull through, not pulling that out. So see, this is a little bit trickier. So just kind of trial and error it until you find what makes you happy, because that's what this is all about. This is a project of love, and maybe this isn't a tradition in your family, but that's okay. You can make it a tradition in your family, or you can do something completely different with it. I think that'd be really fun. So because I was tighter with my beginning loop and with my stitches, you can see that I don't have that big gap that I do in some of my other ones. But again, the gap's not a huge deal as long as it's not giant and getting in your way. So I'm going to pull down a pony bead after I did my chain 1 to close up the puff stitch. And then I'm going to do another chain, and then this is where I would pull up and start another puff stitch. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you join me in doing my fundraiser for Alzheimer's awareness. If you can't donate, you can still hang out. It's on the 21st. I plan on airing this on the 21st. So I hope you enjoyed this, and let me see your creations. I want to see what you made with this, because I'm sure it's probably more beautiful than what I have going on here. But anyways, love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!